What's up, Mike?
How you doing, bro?
Fantastic. If you're watching the show tonight, I am Chris Hughes. My co-host tonight, Michael Cianfrocco, and we do not have Eric tonight. I think Eric is down and out. I believe he is sick. So, welcome to the Grapevine Show, where we talk about news, relevant stuff in the trade, how to benefit yourself in the trade, and then whatever else comes up to mind. I don't know. Tonight's topic, memberships. Why memberships? Because there's a whole lot of consolidation going on these days. Mike, you seeing that in your area? I'm seeing it over here.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of big companies coming in and swallowing people up. What you know about that?
Yeah, it's getting kind of crazy, man. It's we had last symposium in Orlando, we had Diversitech pretty much put out the whole market as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, you talking about on the product manufacturing side?
On the product side, yeah.
Really? Interesting, yeah. So Jennifer says, nice haircut. Yeah, so the dude's gone, man. All haircut got cut off. So what I realized is that I have a pretty gnarly bald spot. And when I took pictures of like my bald spot from the side, I was definitely like, this ain't working. So,
you don't want to go for the Trump comb over?
It had to go. No, I could have went there. I could have went for the comb over, but I just can't do it, man. I'm like this close to just shaving it all off.
Ooh.
My brother does it, but he's been doing it for years, you know? Man, mad respect to people who can pull off that haircut. I just don't think I could do it.
I give it to him, man.
Dude, I think I would look, like a weirdo.
Not everybody can go bald, man.
No. Maybe if I grew like a gnarly beard.
You got to have the right cabeza for it, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, in other news, I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but the MLB draft is on right now. And my hometown, LSU, for I think the first time in history, got the number 1 and number 2 pick in the draft just now. So I'm watching it on my TV screen, literally right here, just to kind of give you a sneak peek of my office right here. Check this out.
Yeah. If Chris tunes out a little bit tonight, it's not because
MLB draft, baby. So if I tune out, it's because I'm watching MLB draft.
Yeah. It's not because I'm boring.
Yeah, exactly. They're just, so the show may be a little short, man. The draft is on. Come on.
Stuff. He wanted to bail on me, and I think that's what Eric did too. He's watching. He's probably watching the draft,
man. I sent a message to Mike 30. So kudos to Mike, everybody. If you're here watching tonight, you should be thanking Mike, because I texted Mike 30 minutes ago and I said, maybe we should cancel the show tonight because the draft's on. You know what I'm saying? Like the draft. And Mike's like, yeah, I don't watch baseball. And I'm like, bro, are you an American? Like, what the hell? So
would I respond back to you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm so,
I watch HVAC.
So I at least got the draft on. I got it muted, right? But I'm at least, and we're past number 1, number 2 pick, which is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if Skeens was going to go number 1, which he did, which was pretty cool to watch.
Well, I'll talk tonight, and you just nod your head.
There you go. Do it. All right, man. Let's talk about memberships. So from my history, we at our family's company, we did memberships late in the game. Like this not something we started till like a few years. We were in business for probably 8-10 years, and we didn't really get into memberships until I could really wrap my head around it to why it could make us more profitable and have more of a name to the company. What I mean by that is we became brand specific probably after about 10 years of being in business. And it was a hard decision because we were not brand specific for many, many years. But when I became brand specific, there was a lot of benefits to it. I'm not even going to joke, man. There's a lot of benefits to becoming brand specific once you start moving volume. Benefits like co-op dollars. Co-op dollars can get pretty up there. I mean, I was, typically 15 grand ish is what I had in co-op money that I could spend. And if you know how to spend it wisely, it can really benefit you, right? I mean, if you want to buy a tool and that tool can generate a report, you can pretty much buy that tool with co-op dollars if you play your cards right. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I remember you saying Dustin mentioned something about that, right?
Yeah, man. Dustin picked up a true flow with co-op dollars. But co-op dollars, their branding becomes your branding, which gets you a lot of branding. And you can also kind of claim a territory. This is something I don't know if a lot of people know about. If you sign up with a specific brand, it's kind of like a car dealership. Now, you notice there's not like a Chevrolet dealership in your town and then another Chevrolet dealership half a mile from you, right? They don't allow that. Like the brand doesn't allow that to happen. That's very common also with like air conditioning brands. Like imagine
really?
That Daikin doesn't. Yeah, you're not going to have, typically there's not a lot of overlap. They don't like a lot of overlaps. And I don't know if anybody's ever done this. I personally did this. When I became brand specific, I demanded a certain mile radius around me to be specific to me. And I could not have that brand be offered within a certain mile radius to me because I was the only brand dealer of that brand. Now, at first they didn't want to do it, but I argued it pretty heavily and won the argument to hold the title of that brand for a specific mile range. I tried to do it with 2 branches and they didn't allow it. They would only give me 1 location.
Good idea.
A powerful move. And the reason I did that was, the brand had a really good warranty. And so I ran with the warranty and then passed the warranty on to the clientels when I would sell the job. This was a big overhaul move for our company. Probably, all right, I'll get into the details. The brand would offer a 10-year labor and parts warranty.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, the labor part of that was really intriguing to me. So I dug deep into the information on that. And the labor rates we were getting paid, they're fixed labor rates for repairs. But you could argue the amount you want it. So here's another tidbit for anybody who's out there, who's a contractor, who's listening. They will offer you a specific labor rate. Now, you can argue that and try to negotiate a higher labor rate if you're with that brand. And at first they may not give it to you, but the key to that is keep asking and keep steady on them. And then they'll just keep pressing that labor rate. Eventually, the labor rate can get pretty aggressive and you actually make pretty decent money on doing labor. Now,
I remember being a technician and doing those. And the boss would always say, hurry up, Mike. We don't have too much time on this job. It's a whole warranty.
No, it's, I would say this. We never got wealthy doing warranty repairs, of course.
Right.
But we were doing.
Keeps you guys busy. That sounds good though, too.
Well, let's circle back. Let's go back to the days when we didn't do this labor warranty.
Right.
And everybody's dealt with this in their life. And I'm telling you, this was the pain of my existence in our company, and I hated it. You put in a new system, 1 year, 2 years goes by, and the evaporator coil starts leaking, right? And
it just happened to me.
Right. And then you have to go tell that homeowner, hey, look, the evaporator coil's free, but the labor's not. Torch, nitrogen, vacuum, 3 sticks of salt or whatever. You got to pay for all that. And what do? They explode, right? They're just super pissed because how dare you put this brand new air conditioner in and it don't last, and you've got to change this evaporator coil and you're going to charge me all this money.
You told me this was the best unit, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely right, bro. And
I don't make them.
After many, many years, me and my dad, we were talking about this, and I told my dad, I said, you know what? I said, I'm so sick of having that conversation. I said, I'm ready to have a business model that turns that super negative into like a positive. And this is how I turn that into a positive. I would basically not allow you to buy an air conditioner from me without the labor warranty.
Oh, wow.
If you bought an air conditioner from us, you instantly basically enrolled into our warranty plan.
Cool.
You had to do yearly annual maintenance to keep it. If you didn't do the maintenance, we would drop you and we would drop your warranty. That we were strict about that.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
I do. I really do.
If you
That's
read
pretty
the
cool.
on everybody's maintenance, they tell you that you have to have someone professionally maintain your air conditioner.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you lose the warranty. So
And it's also another bargaining chip when somebody talks price, price, price. I'll
exactly.
be like, well, I could take off the labor. We include it. The other companies don't. So that's pretty
So
cool.
I've had a few of these happen to me since that, going back to
Yeah.
the days of warranty coils leaking.
Yeah.
Look, here's what I'll say. You put in an air conditioner and you go back to, let's say, a lady's house, because I have this lady in my vision because I remember this conversation like it was yesterday.
Is she a New Yorker in Louisiana? That's a pretty crazy story.
She was definitely a lady who would have been irate with me if I would have asked her for like $1,000 to change this evaporator coil, which we all know is justified.
About the going rate.
Like, we're not making money doing it. We're covering costs. But I told her, I said, look, your coil's leaking. I said, we're going to replace your coil. I said, I'm going to put refrigerant in it now. We'll schedule you within this month and we'll get this knocked out. And she goes, what am I going to have to pay? I said, you're not going to have to pay anything. Not a dime. I was like, you've done your maintenance. We're going to take care of you. This is how this works for the next 12 years. Well, at that point, the next 10 years. And she was like, nothing? I'm like, nothing. I was like, and I told her, I said, pretty happy about that warranty now, aren't you? She's like, oh yeah. And then I've got all the rest of her family's work. So here's what I'm here to say, man. You gotta look at it as like a loss leader a little bit. You're not going to get rich. You're going to make all this money, but that customer satisfaction went through the roof. And now she's going to tell everybody, and you're going to get their family's work.
Yeah.
That worked for us in a big, big way. So I would encourage anybody out there, if you're not doing that, I'd jump on that bandwagon. But you got to.
And if you guys don't want to do that, just have your salesman, because I've done quite a bit of sales. You just got to be a little bit more upfront with these customers and talk to them more about labor. What's covered first year? What do you guys do? 2 years labor?
And here's the other caveat to that, just to let everybody know. Our yearly maintenance was not cheap. It was expensive. I mean, I hate to say expensive. It was justified cost. Like, we were making money on the maintenance run. But
You're doing Jerry Garcia maintenances for $400?
Yeah, basically. But
That's the way to do it, baby.
It's when that lady's coil went out, she didn't pay for refrigerant. Now we know the price of refrigerant it fluctuates and it gets really high. So what I had to do to be prepared for that in the company was stock up on refrigerant. I mean, when I would buy 410A in 22, I was buying literally 80 drums at a time. That's how much we would stock. When I got down to say 20, I'd buy 80 and we would stock it heavily because we would then know our cost. And I would look over
how many pallets is that, man? Golly.
2 pallets, 40 drums on a pallet. But and I'd buy it out of Texas just to let everybody know, because that's where I found the best deal. I would do bulk orders from a company out of there and they would ship it to me. But I was doing that.
I like to buy my jugs of Freon off of Craigslist. I find the best price on there. Some of them come a little light, but whatever.
So this is something I never did, but I highly considered it. And I'm curious to know if anybody else out there is doing that. And this is I'm a sidetrack for a second. When you start looking at all your repairs, and if your bookkeeping skills are on point and you're categorizing thermostats that you've used, like if you're someone who looks at your inventory and you track your inventory, like your thermostats and everywhere, and when you use one on a job, it goes in your inventory and it gets taken out of inventory, and then you can pull it up in QuickBooks or whatever your software is, and you can say, man, I used 53 thermostats last year of this model. Like, we had that capability. We were very precision in our inventory.
That's nice.
But what I was gonna do, my next move was gonna be to start ordering all my parts just offline in bulk. And I would lose probably the capability of bringing them back for warranty at that point. But like, if I could buy let's just say if I need 80 thermostats and I'm buying them for half cost, then I'll just throw one in the trash can when it goes bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like
Yeah.
it's not worth it. If you know what I'm saying, I think I could have bulk purchased a lot of more of my parts and consolidated them on my shelves. And I think the bigger companies get, that's what they do. Like I think I was able to get to that point with refrigerant. And I think I was slowly getting into a good game of what I did with maintenance. And I think
Mhm.
part of it would have been my next move.
Yeah, I worked for a big corporation. I wasn't involved. I was just a technician, but I remember the warehouse guy they would buy like, you'd see 4 pallets of refrigerant come in because we had probably 20, 30 guys, technicians. And instead of, I think we were doing Goodman at the time, instead of going to our Goodman distributor, they would directly have a relationship with Goodman. Like we would get a shipment come in.
Yeah.
It was That's a
Mike
pretty big jump.
Mike says you got to have room for that as well. Mike,
Yeah,
absolutely right.
it
It's
was a
like
big warehouse. Yeah,
you got to have room for it. And we were fortunate to have the room. Like this didn't happen in year 1 or year 2 or even year, like 6 or 7. I mean, this was the game that was played when we got to about year 8. We're at year 8.
that's
You're
cool.
you have more of around 8 to 10 technicians. That's when life really gets insanely stressful, I would say.
Yeah.
Like that's
Whenever my buddy who owns a small business, he calls me up, he'll give me a ring and ask for some help. And
the hardest
it,
the hardest
the
part of
guy will say, I'll be like, "How's the kids doing?" You know,
he's like,
you
what
know,
kid?
yeah. He's like, the kids at the business.
Yeah. The hardest part of growth for someone who works in the field, and this is speaking from experience, is when you want to be in the field and you want to go do the work, but you can't do the work because you have to go basically quote the other work or design work or chase work or be at meetings to drive work. Like you're doing sales, accounting meetings, whatever. You're doing all this stuff that's not the work. And you
Yeah,
have to do it because you have to do that to keep the other going. And I would say that really starts around anywhere between 8 to 10 technicians, or that's where it happened for us. Like 8 to 10 technicians. Like I literally was kind of like had to get away from technician mentality because
yeah. You
if I
hit the
didn't,
wall.
every time I got in the field, everything else broke. Like the functionalities of what
Mhm.
happened during the day just was starting to fall apart. Right.
It's a tough business, man. I got to give it to everybody out there, man. It's a tough, tough business trying to deal with all the drama with the technicians, trying to be a babysitter with the kids, trying to get everybody happy.
I want to
One week somebody will come in and accidentally mention how much their pay rate was raised to the other guys.
I want to go
It's
like observe a company because I never got to
yeah,
run a company that was like super big with like 50 techs. And I've heard stories of how people do it, right? Like I've heard these really cool ideas where vans pull up in the shop and they preload these racks that go in the vans. And every single day the vans get stripped, new racks go in with new inventory and everything. It's like a brand new van every
dude,
day.
that's
And
crazy.
they do that because they can't take the chance of that guy not having the part or whatever. So they preload all these racks and they slide them in the van. And every day this dude gets a new setup. And I'm like, that
What?
is freaking wild. And I want to see this process and procedure in action. It sounds like freaking awesome.
Dude, I did HVAC and I did plumbing on one truck. I had a
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there.
huge ass KUV, right? KUV with all the sides where they drop down. I could sweat pipe on the side.
Dude,
And
that's on another level right there. They
what's
have
that?
Ty Brannaman saying a company in Las Vegas has their own gas station.
Whew.
How many technicians do you have to get to in one area to where, and this was a heavily
That's like the
calculated
cops.
decision. It was like, if we could just fill up here, we're going to save this transit time of going to the gas station.
Yeah.
I highly agree with that. I've never got that big, but I could totally understand where that would be super cost effective. And one thing that I used to do is I would deploy Uber for running parts from supply houses to my team because, people would talk at the counter like way too long. And there's no way to monitor that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you don't want to kind of cut the guys out of that because that's what kind of makes work fun to an extent. It keeps you happy
Well,
at work.
that's
But
what that
some of
corporate company did. They would never let the guys go in the supply house unless it was like an emergency.
Yep.
And we never were able to see the prices of parts and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
No.
keeps them out of the supply house so they don't get another job somewhere else.
Oh, I never thought about it from that angle.
Yeah, buddy.
For me, it was just like the time spent at the supply house. The supply house was maybe too slow, or maybe my guys were just chit chatting way too much.
Yeah.
Either way, it was like, and you just had to deal with it. You couldn't really like manage your way out of it until Uber became a part running service, which was pretty cool because then I could just it
Dude,
became
that is cool.
beneficial to send somebody with a specialty contactor halfway across town for $13, then pull the guy off the job.
Yeah.
But going back to memberships, right? So
Let's do it.
So here's what I would say. And this, in my brain, this all spiraled about the time when QuickBooks was really making their transition to they were getting away from like the one-time purchase of buying QuickBooks. You put it on your computer for a nice flat rate fee to they wanted you to have the online service. They wanted you to pay the monthly fee. And I think some people think for a while, I even thought it's like, why wouldn't they want the big hits? Like, why wouldn't you want these huge deposits of money, right? Like if I'm running a smaller air conditioner company, at first I would think I don't really want these small long-term gains. Like I want big wins. I want project money. I want to build this company up big. And that makes total sense, I think, as a small company, right? But when you get to a bigger company, and especially when you get to a point where you're going to sell your company, this is when memberships matter. And why do they matter? Because somebody just pointed it out. Income stability. That's basically, it's all about what does the bank want to see, right? So if someone's going to buy your business, there's a good chance they're not coming to you with just cold hard cash, right? They don't want to buy it with cold hard cash. Most big businessmen want to use the bank's money to buy your business and let the business fund the debt that it just created. Well, in order for a business to look entertaining for that amount of value to the bank, there has to be an income stability, right?
Right.
And memberships, recurring revenue, a customer list that the bank can see, and there's like established income that it's not guaranteed, but it looks guaranteed, right?
So you're saying maintenance agreements if you were just a residential company?
Yes. If you're a residential company, maintenance agreement. If you're going to sell your business, the way to drive the cost value of your business way up is to put everybody you can on a maintenance agreement.
On a maintenance agreement. Yep. That's what I remember. A guy was buying another guy's company in town.
Yep.
And he was like, how many maintenance agreements do you have?
That's what they're chasing. They're chasing.
And that was it.
Agreements because they know they can go to the bank and the bank will. That's not the only token that the bank.
Yeah, they were looking at the books too, and the books were cooked a little bit, but that's cooking the books.
Right. So the bank's going to look at money in the bank. They're going to look at the 5-year spread, a bunch of other things, but memberships matter a lot, and that's what I was kind of getting. That's why I went around the world back to that whole statement, but it all matters. But yeah, memberships are what is how someone comes to you and offers you top dollar for your business.
That's pretty much what I've seen over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't have a lot of maintenance agreements, it's
so if anybody wants to sell, sign everybody up.
Sign them up, baby.
And I would say
2 visits a year, 1 time a year, whatever you got going on.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is
just get their contact information and send it to China.
I haven't really looked into Smart AC much, but Jim Bergman's doing some work with Smart AC, cutting your 2 visits down to 1. They put the home monitoring system on and that whole deal.
Dude, I read that whole article. I love it.
I'm curious to see how that's going to play a role into the membership game and how that's going to change the amount of site visits that have to happen on a home and
Yeah.
how customers are going to respond to that. Right? I'm not
Dude,
knocking. I think it's a phenomenal idea,
I'm
but
glad you brought that up, man, because when I read that article, it was like a game changer, man.
yeah,
It
it's
was,
when you're charging someone for a maintenance, and I am absolutely guilty of this, and I guarantee you everybody in this chat is too. Like we've had plenty of commercial contracts or people's homes where you go to, and how many times do you clean a condenser that looks brand new? You're just like, well, I'm gonna break it down and clean it anyway, right? Because
yeah,
that customer wants to see a perceived value come out of you while you're there on that job. If you go through that whole system in 5 to 10 minutes and you do a really good maintenance, and let's say everything looks brand new, you check the capacitors, you do all the little quality technical checks, and everything's already clean, you're going to get yelled at. Like the homeowner's going to be like, wait a minute, you didn't clean the condenser, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. They didn't see any like physical work that went down from a long time. And that's I think the reason we clean condensers, man. Like we're out there banging out condenser cleanings on clean condensers because we have to show that homeowner this expected value that's built up in their mind over years
right.
of people doing the same thing.
So you like the whole Jim Bergman with the what's the product again?
Smart AC.
Smart AC. Yeah. So you like that angle where it, I mean, don't,
I'm not saying I like it, but I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying I haven't looked into it enough to
I'm liking it.
understand it. What I'm saying is I'm curious to see, is it going to change how we handle these memberships and maintenance contracts? Like what I'm curious to know what's going to change
Right.
for maintenance, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's saying, unless it really, you should, what Jim's saying in the article that I read, once a year. And I mean, don't go out there more times than you need to.
Yeah.
Monitor it online, which I'm kind of doing with my buddy gave me access to the Nexia hub with Train. And he calls me up and asks me, what's going on with this system? And I look it up online and I go, listen, you got high static. Tell the customer change the filter.
Yeah.
So it's cool. You got to have somebody to monitor and do the IT almost turned into an IT guy out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Bizarre.
but I think that's going to be really hard to have a customer willing to pay for that.
Yes, because I did look for it as soon as I got done reading the article. And the product is, the product's up there in price. Do you know how much it is currently?
No, I don't. But I'll tell you a story about that. There was a private school that I used to have under maintenance contract, and they had TCS Controls. I don't know if you ever heard of TCS Basis, but it's just it's kind of like Johnson Controls is the easiest thing I could probably relate it to that everybody knows. But their big niche is when you tie it to the web and everything, like everything's heavily encrypted. So they're big. Their control system's big in banks. A lot of their controls go because of the encryption. Good company, good product. So we would tie all their system back at the main at our office. And when I would pull up the interface, I could see every air conditioning unit. And I had it set up to where anytime an air conditioner would get below a certain temperature, it would be red, right? And anything that was in temperature was in green. So every morning I could walk in and this interface would just be on the screen and I could flip through different places that had this system and I could just look for a red air conditioner, right?
Yeah.
Now
see, every morning with Train, I get an email. It just pops up.
Yeah. And so I would, the relationship I had with the school was they did not have to call me. Like they wanted to know, like if something went red, they just were like dispatch somebody. Don't even wait for a phone call. Send them for a service call. And that's what we did. But, which it works because like we're not charging them anything for that service, but yet we're getting work out of it. That's like basically easy. You're not waiting on a phone call. Phone calls automatically. It's like guaranteed work. So it's
automated. Yeah. That's cool.
So it's a give take relationship, but it is a little stressful when right in the morning. And I would always go into the office probably an hour early. Right. And this was like my routine. I would go in the office an hour early and I would just go click, 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 and I would look at all the places and go, okay, red, 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 or no red, or one, or maybe 5 red, and it's really interesting, man. Like how much extra time you do when you're managing a couple techs and you got places under radar and whatnot. This is what makes the job stressful. Like every day before the day would start, I was looking at that screen. Well, I had already planned that day the evening before, but I would plan it loosely. What did I mean by that? If I had 10 techs, I would book 8 of them out and I would leave 2 floaters. And that was my mentality of how I would structure, because I would always know that something would come in and there would always be somebody available to go run it. I never just booked everybody out. Right. Unless it was like wintertime and I just knew I could book them out because nothing was probably going to come in. Summertime, always had floaters that floated to the next day. And if there was a bigger job, I'd send them as a helper to go help one tech and they would have an easier job. But man, when those screens go red, 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 and your floaters become committed right there in the morning and you got more reds, that's a stressful day.
Sorry, man. Brian got me laughing on that joke. Pedro Pookie Tape Pascal.
Oh, I know, man. So if you missed the last show, we definitely have a mascot now. Pascali, I think, is the name of our dog. And we're going to have to get like a dog sticker. I mean,
dude, I forgot about that. I was drinking a little too much on vacation. Sorry about that, guys.
If anybody knows like an illustrator, someone who knows how to do stuff better than me by a mile and they can illustrate, we need a sticker, man. We need a sticker that we can turn into a company logo.
What about the guy that does all the wirings and stuff?
I don't know. It looks like there's
diagrams.
A person out there doing it now, man. I just seen what's his name from HVAC Simulator starting to dibble dabble with that and getting pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe him. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, House, look at that. House says AI can do it.
Now, GPT?
He's saying
or does he mean it?
Or is that just lazy text saying, hey, I can do it?
Hey, I can do it. Forget about it.
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, I don't know. So that's somewhat of my take on memberships. So my next question is, or what I'm thinking about is, does it mean when a company is like really piling up the memberships, does that mean they're trying to sell their business? Or is there another agenda? And if there is, I can't quite put my finger on it. You know what I mean? Like, I guess there's some other benefits to memberships. Like when I tied it to the labor plan, it worked out well for me. So I guess it's not a bad way to go. It definitely got me more work if I was trying to grow in that sector, but it wasn't as profitable if I would have just continued to chase the project route. And that's the truth. In my opinion.
Think so? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like if I would have just focused on projects, I would have made more money. Absolutely. But membership was just, but projects, in my opinion, is a little bit more stressful because you're constantly juggling. You're juggling.
That depends on who's in management, man. It really does, because, you know, my buddy tried doing, being the service, you know, like the supervisor and everything. And he's like trying to manage not doing a maintenance in the middle of like summer.
Yeah.
And let's do it, man.
We're definitely going to have to start a Grapevine membership.
Or whatever the hell, whatever Jen was talking about, some stars or whatever. Yeah. Super chat, whatever the hell that is. Yeah.
I wonder what a Grapevine membership would look like.
We need something, because I've gotten so fat. My schmedium don't fit no more for the Grapevine. So
I know we need to amp it up, man. Shirts and everything. It's time to blow this thing up. Animal House.
Yeah, so, Animal House, baby.
So I don't know. Maybe we need to create some like token or something, you know.
Should we just be like overtime, never have any big corporate memberships?
There's an idea I have on my brain.
So we could always drop the random F-bomb on YouTube.
Yeah. You go ahead, dude. I don't care.
Not that I'm a fan of. I'm trying to keep the bombs down.
There's
the way I grew up, you know. It's like a comma. You know, you say blibbity blop, comma.
let me ask. We got some people in the chat. Here's a question I want to ask everybody to think about. Do you feel that the amount of information in the HVAC market is great and it's all there and people need it, but it's scattered and it needs to just be like in one place? Like, I feel like that needs to happen. And I'm not quite, I
agree.
I have like this idea in my mind how to consolidate, but I do not think, I don't know if everybody would be on board for a consolidation, but if we consolidated, I have ideas on how we could structure this and make it really, really clean to where people would go to one location and find what they want. And man, it'd take a lot of work, but it'd be really clean and really good.
How do all the cool kids say it? Leave a comment in the bottom. Let us know what you think. Blah blah blah.
Oh, he's AC Super Cool said for who? This would be I would say multi-tiered, man. It would be for HVAC guys and girls. Sorry, Jennifer. I'll almost let you hanging. It would be for everybody. It would be homeowners could come watch content. HVAC professionals could come watch content. Business owners. It would be all that content, but it'd be categorized. Right. And
I think we should merge Facebook groups too, like Mike's Facebook group. HVAC, there he is.
HVAC social media on steroids. Absolutely.
We should merge Mike's group, Jenry's, Garcia. If he's okay with them.
I think if it was done right, it would be less work for everybody who's running their own channels. Personally, and a part of this is don't drop your own channel. You know what I'm saying? Don't quit doing your own thing. Just also be a part of this thing, right? And then if somebody's like, oh, I really like what I'm seeing here, then they go there and they can find all your content. But this would be an avenue. It would be like this cross promotional content metropolis, right? And all channels would grow and people would get exposed to more stuff that's different that they may not know about, because it just comes up in their feed because it's all overlapped together, but yet organized. I mean,
you created the group. I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like, this is my opinion, that a lot of the building science guys kind of gravitate a lot of their content on the Grapevine, on Facebook, because some other groups are just a little bit more technician. They're not building science oriented. Do you agree with that?
I think there's a couple groups that are like that. I think there's some groups out there that are more known for jokes and fun, and I play in those too. There's some groups that are super nerdy, and I don't maybe live in those every day, but when I want to know something, I know that's where I go to find it.
Right.
And I think we got a good thing going. I think the Grapevine is a good spot to. It's a little bit of both. Like, I'll let some jokes slide every now and then, but I'll be straight up with everybody. Like, I delete a bunch of crap. Like, if the group comes in with a bunch of posts and it's just like the jokes may be too raw, it offends the wrong person. It's just like, it's a meme that's been passed around a lot. I just filter. Like, and I hate if that upsets somebody. I'm sorry, but what I'm trying to do is just maintain the integrity of the group to make sure people don't end up mindlessly scrolling through the group going, yeah, sick of seeing that. Like, I don't want that to ever be what we're working on. I want it to be a little bit cleaner than that, where it's like, I've had a few talks with people, and this is what they tell me. They're like, man, if somebody posts something in the Grapevine, like, I'm enlightened to want to go open it and see what it is, because it might be something I'm going to learn. And that's like, I don't want to lose that. Like, the group's growing. There's a lot more people jumping in. So like, I'm filtering harder and harder. And so I just don't want it to get to a point where like tons of stuff keeps sliding through and people are like, this group used to be pretty cool and now it's not. So, so I guess I have to be a little bit more of a dick than normal.
I've been waiting for the movie Training Day, where you got Denzel driving and then just somebody pops on Jerry Garcia's face. You get a little meme going there. Training Day.
I like a good joke every now and then, man. You know what I'm saying? Some memes deserve to come.
You gotta break it up.
Yeah, I like putting a meme out there every now and then. Like I build some freaking kick butt memes. I'm just gonna say it. Like they're fun. You know? Yeah,
Toot my own horn.
Ty Brandon,
Yeah,
that's a good point. What I do like about our group of individuals we have is perspectives. There's a lot of
yeah,
alphas in the group, right? And so, like, it's easy to agree with somebody in this trade when they're definitely speaking really highly on a topic that's a little deep. But in our group, you'll definitely have people go, "Yeah, I don't know about that." You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's when it's like, yes, like that's when you know there's about to be a deep dive, and I
Dude,
enjoy that.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you and I really love is when we invite like a new guy and he's like just getting into the trade and like he's talking back and forth with like Steve Rogers
Yeah,
and like like Jim Bergman will jump in. Like I'm like I almost want to pop in there and go, bro, do you know who you're talking to right now?
yeah, yeah. And then
This
how
is like 15 years ago, this didn't exist.
House is probably the biggest alpha male we have in our group.
Oh yeah, shut the door. Shut the door.
Yep, good stuff, man. Humblest man on the internet.
Yeah, I'm ready for another symposium, man.
Me too. I'm freaking
I'm
ready,
ready.
bro. I'm ready. Well, I'm ready for that, and I'm ready for my vacation. That's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you. Like,
I thought you just went on one.
did I? Maybe I did, bro. Why you gotta be ratting me out, man? Like acting like I'm rich or something, dude. I ain't rich. I
You're
ain't
just
got.
monopolizing on your your workcations, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't got my Subco mailbox money yet, bro. Better
Come
slow
on.
your roll
2
on that.
cents. Yeah.
No, but so I'm going to California. Actually, I am piggybacking off a work trip. To be honest with you, I gotta go to San Diego for Resonance conference, and I'll be there for that. And then I've decided to fly the whole family to California with me. Now they're going to get to kick it for a couple days, but we are trying to decide. Maybe I should reach out to Chris Stevens about this one. I know he lives over there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be in November, and I've been exploring all day. Like I spent half the day doing this, trying to build out like an idea where I should go. And I'm either going to drive up the coast and do some cool stuff, like go to Big Sur and go up, or I'm going to go right and I'm going to go check out like Death Valley and Yosemite and come back to San Francisco to fly home. And like so, my routes are. I only have enough days to go up the coast or go around, and I don't know what to do. I'm like kind of stressing out over it. Like I don't know,
Bro, if you want to stress out, I bring a little baby powder for your hands, right? Bring
Yeah,
some old school driving gloves because I'm telling you, driving down I think it's what is it, Interstate 1
I don't know. I
on
mean,
California, give you
people brag about
the
the
shits.
Coast Highway.
It's a cliff, bro. You're driving on a freaking cliff,
Oh, really?
and there's sharks down there. I don't know, bro. Take the desert route.
Ty, bro, I know you travel all the time. You need to hit me up, man. I need to know some things. You know what I'm saying? Like this vacation's got to be stellar, and I need some advice.
Ty's got wanderlust, man. He doesn't stop moving.
I know, man. Dude's always on the go.
But I'm telling you, man, go to Hearst Castle in California. It's up Central Coast, maybe a little bit north. The kids will like it. Dude was like a
Is it above?
bazillionaire.
Was that above San Francisco? Perspective.
It is just south of Frisco. Yeah, south of Frisco, if I could remember right.
You have to send me a link, man. Oh, by the way, Mike, somebody wants you to drop that link you were talking about. And I think it was AC Super Cool. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they were looking for the link on the Smart AC deal.
Jim Bergman's thing?
Well, Smart AC. But are you buying that through Jim, or are you buying that through Smart AC?
No, he's just making a recommendation because it
there it is.
I think it might work with
I think
it might work with Measure Quick and it ties in with everything with Service Titan.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Maybe we could drop the article. You know what? I'll put it in the Facebook group, the Grapevine. I'll see if I can pull it up.
Yep. Oh,
it's amazing, man. He's always on some next level shit, that guy, Jim. I tell you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also saying if the unit as far as monitoring go with the smart AC, if that smart AC is running okay, use the non-invasive. Don't put gauges on.
Yeah.
Don't put your 35-foot quarter-inch hoses on there and let out, half a pound of refrigerant every maintenance. When you're doing 4 maintenances every year, so
Well,
what he's throwing down.
or you convert over to the probe set, man. Like
That's what I got, bro.
like, yeah, it's once you get used to probes, it's hard to get away from it. It really is. It's too much data coming in at one time.
I'll never go back. I got one hose for charging refrigerant.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I don't know
Dunzo.
if I'd want to go back. It's the way to go.
No, I'll never go back. It's ridiculous, dude. I got a tablet. I got a little I bought a Walmart Apple tablet. Thing's been working like a freaking a beast for 3 years. No problems. Stay away from an Android junk.
Thank
Get
you.
yourself your cheapest little Apple tablet, and it rocks, dude. The customers love watching Measure Quick.
Do they?
Live data.
Yeah.
One guy freaked out, called his buddy.
I'll be honest, man.
He goes, "This guy you sent over here, I love him."
Yeah. So
not me. He loves Jim's app. It's not my deal.
As your business practice, do you email the reports to the customers, or do y'all just maintain them? Like, how does that work for you?
For me, it's just my business. I was asking people if they wanted everything emailed. It's kind of like a hit or miss thing for me. I mean, I don't have a lot of customers, man. It's just small.
I guess
one
what
van
it's like for us as techs, we want it, but like I'm curious to know how many homeowners want it. Is it like 50-50? Like some are like, oh, could I get that? Or some like, yeah, that's cool, thanks, but no, I don't need a copy, but thanks,
That's it was a lot like that. Like, oh, I could see it. It's in the green.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
now when you say they like it, do they like how he built the report card feature? There was like the initial reporting, which is like the classic report card, which and then he created the checklist report card. I don't know what it's called, but there's like a homeowner friendly report card.
Yeah.
Are we talking like homeowners like to see that? Is that
no, just the live measurements? Yeah, while I'm working on it, while I'm doing the maintenance. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, it's just I could sit on the condenser and make it go red. It's like it's past the green bubble on the high side. It's all live. It's like it's watching the doctor put the thermometer in your mouth. You know what I mean?
Cool. Like I'm gonna follow up with you on that. When you say Greek to homeowners, are you saying the report that Jim had built that's got like the report card feature that has gives the color coding? Is that's what's Greek to the homeowners,
or the live,
or the classic report card? That's what I'm curious.
Yeah, for me personally, they like the live because I kind of simplified it. I go, hey, everything's in the green, right? So
yeah,
it's good.
We got somebody watching, man, from the river. How about that? What's up?
He's on a boat. Nice.
Living the good life, man. He's
Dustin.
He's not
Cole.
The MLB draft like me right now. Speaking of which, we got to cut this show kind of short, man. I got to watch this draft. That's all I'm saying, man.
All right, brother. No problem.
Till next Sunday, bro. I'm going back
to some chats down, buddies. Leave some comments.
See ya.
Catch you kids later.